In this video, we're going to continue building our site by adding the third and final page, which is the About page. So the About page is going to hold some information about our company, a gallery of office pictures that we can scroll through like so, and a little section at the bottom where the user or the visitor could apply for a job opening that we have. Okay, so let's go over to RapidWeaver and start building this page. So obviously the first thing we need to do is add a new stacks page, and we will call this About, and I'm going to move that to the bottom of the page list. And before we go any further, I'll open up the page inspector and set the folder path to be About. Okay, and then the first thing we need to do is add the banner to the top of the page. So we'll go to my Foundry folder here, and I'll just search for the banner stack and drag and drop that in. Now instantly you can see that the Foundry control center stack is missing, and that's because we need to add our global menu partial that we created previously. So go to your partials and drag and drop in the global menu into the banner area there. Next, we're going to set the banner here at the top. If we go to our live site, you'll see that we have this image here. So what we want to do is go to the stack settings and scroll down and change the banner style to be image. And then we can browse for that image on the desktop. Go to the assets folder here, and I believe I've got it in company. Yep, and it's the banner image there, like so. And then the background image type is cover, and I think we can leave that as it is for now. Yeah, we're going to have a fixed banner height on this page because we're not going to add any icons or text in here. This was literally just a banner, so we'll leave it as a fixed height banner on this page. Next, we need to start adding the main content to this page. So what we need is a container stack. So we drag and drop that in below the banner. And then we need a header and some paragraph text. And what we're going to do is update the text here. So I'm going to go to the live site and just copy that. And what we want to do is center align this text, and I'm going to make it a page title. And then on the paragraph, I'm going to make this a lead paragraph, and again center align that. And then below that on the page here we have a divider, then another header, and then our image gallery here. So let's have a look at how we add that. So the first thing we need there is a divider. So we drag and drop the stack in there. Then we needed another header, so I can just copy that one. And I will update that to say this is where we work. And then what we need is the gallery stack. So we go up here, make sure we're inside of our Foundry folder as always, and search for gallery. And then all you need to do is drag and drop that in below the header. And you'll see that you get some placeholder images. We're just going to have 6, so I'm going to delete these bottom 2. And then, as with a lot of these stacks within Foundry, the way you add the images is within inside the stack setting, and you can drag and drop your images in here, or you can use the browse button. And as you can see, I have 6 company images ready made in the desktop there, so I'm just going to quickly add all of those now. Okay, and then what I want to do is actually set the thumbnail resolution to be 512 pixels for all of these images. So I'll do that again quickly now. Like so. Now obviously I'm skipping over a lot of these sections in these videos where you can add captions and alt tags. You should definitely do that for your site. I'm just skipping over these smaller details just to keep these videos short and concise, but as I say, you should obviously be describing the images with the alt tags and adding optional captions if you want some text to go alongside these images. Okay, with that being said, let's go and preview this in the browser. So what I'm going to do as always is press Command P and open up the local web server inside of Safari. And we'll see instantly we've got that nice banner image across the top. Our page has been added to our navigation. We've got the header, our text, and another header with our thumbnail gallery here. So we're not looking quite the same as the live site. We've got 3 by 3 and the content is contained within inside the correct width. So we need to go back to RapidWeaver and fix that first of all. So on the container here, we need to set the max width to be 960. And what I want to do is change this header to be perhaps a H2 or even an H3, just to make that a bit smaller. We go back to Safari and preview that, and we're looking a little bit better. And what we can do here is click on one of these thumbnails and check that our gallery works. And yep, we can scroll through all of our images like so. Okay, what we want though is to have a 3x3 grid here. So let's go to the gallery stack and change the settings. So on the desktop, I want 3 images per row. And you can see here you can change that on the mobile and tablet as well. So if you want it slightly differently on the tablet, perhaps 4 or 2, then we can do that like so. Then when we go back to Safari, and if we were to make our browser width smaller, you'll see that that goes to 2x2, and then when we get larger to the desktop size, we get 3x3. So a nice quick and simple way to adjust your gallery based on the device width. Okay, what I want to do next is, I think this text is slightly too large, so what we can do is, if it's appropriate, you could just use an H2 for your page, or if you want this to be a page title, you can then customize the font sizes here. However, for this video I'm just going to choose an H2 just to keep it quick, and that's looking a little bit better. And we have our title there. Yep, that's pretty good. So what we need is perhaps a little bit more space in between these sections, and then we need to add this "Our Team Needs You" section down at the bottom. Okay, so let's go to RapidWeaver and do that now. So on the divider, I'm going to set the margin on the top and the bottom to be 40 pixels. And what I'll actually do is remove the base margin from that paragraph so that it is equal above and below the divider. And then what we need is another divider. So what I could do is copy this one and paste it in below the gallery stack. And then what we need is another header. So again, I can just copy that header with Command C and then paste that in below there. And then finally what we wanted was some more paragraph text. So let's go and drag and drop a paragraph in, and we will center align that. And let's go back to Safari and preview that. And there again, we're looking a little bit nicer. I think that header needs a little bit more margin below. And yeah, otherwise that's looking pretty good. We obviously need our global footer applied as well, so we need to add that footer partial that we created in the previous lesson. So let's go back to RapidWeaver and fix those issues. So what I'm going to do here is actually make this header an H2 as well, just so the sizing matches the first header at the top, and I'm going to do the same for the header below there as well. And what I might want to do is perhaps add a little bit of padding to the top of the gallery. So let's put, say, 20 pixels on the top of there. Okay, and then what we needed was our footer partial. So we'll go to our partials and we'll drag and drop in our global footer at the very bottom of the page. And we'll go back to Safari and preview that. And there we can see we've got a little bit more space in here, looks a little bit nicer. And we've got our "This is where we work" header, which we need to change there, but the global footer is applied and looking good. So let's just check the live site and see what we need to do here. We want an "Our Team Needs You" header there with an apply button that opens up this popover modal. Okay, so let's just go to our local site, and if we go back to RapidWeaver, let's update this header first. And then what we wanted was that "Apply Now" button below the paragraph. So let's go to our Foundry folder and we'll drag and drop in a button. And as always, we will center align that. And the style I'm going to have is primary. The size will be standard, but the button text will be "Apply Now," like so. Okay, so that gives us a button there, but what we actually want to happen here is when we click on this, we want this modal popover. So how do we achieve that popover? Let's go to the Foundry stacks, and what we want to use is the modal stack. So search for modal and then we can drag and drop that in here. And what you'll see is that we actually get a button included in the modal stack, so we don't need to add this button ourselves. We can just remove that, and then in the modal stack settings we can change the button style here. So we can set the style to be primary, and we can set the text to be apply now, like so. And then what we need to do is add a title to this modal, so we can just put something like join our team. And then what we can put in here just for now is perhaps some paragraph text. So what I'll do is actually copy this one and paste that in there. Okay, and we'll go back to Safari and preview that. So now we have that same apply now button, and when we click on that, we get that nice popover modal with our header and our main content in there. So it's as easy as that to add a really nice popover modal. Obviously, in a real world situation, you might want to add a form, or you might want to add an email address or something like that, something that would easily enable the visitor to apply for the job that you're advertising for. We're not going to actually go through and add a form in this lesson. If you're interested in doing that, Foundry does provide you with a form stack that you can just simply drag and drop into here. It's fairly basic. You can't customize how many fields there are, and you are pretty stuck with having these 3 text boxes and then an text area here. You can change the labels obviously in the stack setting. However, this is the form that is currently provided with Foundry, and if you want something more flexible, you'll have to have a look at a third-party solution. But as I say, I'm just showing you how you could open up a modal when a button is clicked in this instance. We're not actually going to go through and add a full form to your site right now. So I'm going to actually remove that for now. And what I want to fix up next is at the bottom of the container, I want to add a little bit of margin. So I'm going to say 40 pixels to the bottom of there, simply because that button was too close to the footer there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good now. If we click on the apply now button, we still get that modal, and what I'll probably do is just center align that join our team title there. So to do that, we'll go to our modal, and on the modal title I'll set the alignment to center. So as I say, I'm not going to go through and actually do an apply now form or anything, but I want to point out that you can drag and drop in any stack content into here. So if it were to be a paragraph, or you wanted another header, or you wanted to put a card in there, you can drag and drop any stack content in there and lay it out in any way that you like. You could add columns, you know, you can really customize how you want that modal content to look. But to keep this video nice and short, all we're doing is adding that paragraph. So I'll just undo that delete, and we'll leave it as that for now. Okay, so let's just go back to our live site, or our local site there in Safari, and check that we're looking all good. So we have that nice banner, our title's looking good. We'll check that our gallery is still working with all the images. Yep, and the apply now button, as I said. Okay, so that is your about page done. It's built. We're looking pretty good. We've got a really nice gallery, and I've shown you how you can add a modal to any of your pages. In the next video, what we're going to do is have a look at updating some of the Foundry settings, such as the colors and the font sizings and the headers and things like that, so that we can customize how these links are styled and how these buttons look as well. So once you're ready, I'll see you in the next video.